Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the I'm a Man Son Network. This is Cam, and again, we're doing another round of Jamaican wise sayings. So here I am in my native land, Jamaica. It's a bright, sunny day, as you can see through my window. Brilliant sunshine, as are most days here in Jamaica. So this morning we're going to be looking at four other wise Jamaican sayings. And the one that we're going to start with this morning is wanty wanty, can't get it, no wanty. Let me repeat that. Wanty wanty, can't and get it, no wanty. And this is really a saying that is found, in many other cultures. It's a very wise saying because it is telling us not to take for granted the good things in our lives. Literally, it means those who want can't get, and those who get it don't want it, right? Those who want the thing don't have access to it, and those who get the thing don't want it. They take it for granted. It's also, the saying, the grass always looks greener on the other side of the street. The neighbor's grass always looks greener than yours. It ties into that, right? Because what you have, you take it for granted and you keep telling yourself that somebody else has something better, or you keep wanting something else. It can apply to relationships where you might have a very good thing going with someone, but because you feel that there are so many options, and especially nowadays when we have social media gives us so many options in terms of relationship. You have online dating, you have Instagram, WhatsApp messaging. You just are flooded. We are bombarded with these images of what's out there, and all of a sudden we're saying, hey, why should I pin anybody down, or why should I allow anybody to pin me down when there is all of that available out there? And you never know, maybe the better thing will come tomorrow, maybe the better thing will come later, I will see something even better. And so we take things for granted. And I hope I'm not being biased here, but as a woman, I can tell you I have observed that it is mainly men who, when it comes to relationship, it's mainly the men who take their relationships for granted. They take the women in their lives for granted. They keep thinking that a better thing is going to come, a better thing is out there. I don't want anybody to pin me down. And you might have other men looking at your woman, seeing the value in your woman, and wishing and praying that they could get the chance to treat that woman the right and proper way. And you who have the woman, you take her for granted. I've seen this so many times. I've seen it with my family members. I've seen it with friends. I've seen it even with persons who I have been involved with intimately. I know my value, and I've seen where persons took me for granted, and I'm saying, how can you have such an awesome person, such a great deal going for you, and you allow that to slip through your hands? Why? Because they may have felt that, even though, yes, you are good, you are all that, but I have options available to me. And so you let that slip through your hands and you lose it. It's another saying, grasp all, lose all. You're trying to hold on to everything, you lose it, right? Another saying that we can tie it into, you lose a diamond while grasping for coal. You know, you want it's a balance between quality and quantity. You know, some persons put more emphasis on the quantity, how much, and lose sight of the quality of what they have, right? So our grandparents used to say, want it, can't get it, get it, no want it. Because when you finally see the value of the thing, it may be too late. You may have already lost it. So we need to learn to appreciate the good things we have. You know the song that said, "If I coulda, woulda, shoulda." Yeah, that's another old saying. If I coulda, woulda, shoulda. If I had known, and I wish I could go back. If I could, I wish I could go back and start cherishing that thing that I had access to all this time, and I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't um, play my role. I didn't show that I cared. I didn't take time to let the person know, or to let whatever entity that is with a thing, to show that you value that thing, that you value that person, and that you don't want to lose that person or that thing. And the sad part about it is that you might have persons who would cherish it, who wouldn't take it for granted, and they can't get access to it. That's just life, you know, that's just how life pans out. Those who would be willing to put in the work, willing to do what is necessary not to lose the thing, they can't have access to it. No, I wonder why though. Why is life set up like that? You know, sometimes you see some things, or you observe some things happening and you say, why is it that, you know, the person who would really take advantage of it, they don't have access to it? And the ones who take it for granted, they have ready access to it. I always tell my students that, you know, there are a lot of things that they take for granted. Even the very fact of being able to come to school, the very fact of being able to come to school, they take that for granted. And sometimes I show them some videos of students around the world who have to go through some tremendous hardships just to get to school. And these are the ones who even have a school to go to. The rivers, the literal rivers they have to cross, the dangerous routes they have to take, the transportation problems that is a life and death situation. Just the transportation, just getting to school is a life and death situation. And when they do get to the school itself is so dilapidated. Is, you know what, they have to, the benches, if they do have benches to sit on, the books, if they do have books. And these children, they put out so much effort. Sometimes it takes them 2-3 hours just to get to school. Sometimes they get to school, their uniforms are wet because of the rivers they had to cross. Some of them barefooted. And they make it there, and they are the ones who put out the effort. Likewise, adults who wasted their years, wasted their youth, and now are going back to school, they see the value in it, and so they put out every effort. They don't fail any tests, or they try their utmost best not to fail the test, because they know the value of the thing. They know that this is a chance that they're not going to let slip out of their hands. But the youth tend more to take things for granted. And I've my students, I talk to them all the time about cherishing the sacrifices that parents make for them, that their teachers make for them, that their relatives make for them in providing food, lunch, money, uniform, books, everything. And some of them take it for granted. They don't take care of the supplies. They don't appreciate the fact that someone is making them a priority, making their education a priority. And so they waste time. They waste the time. They have it and they're wasting it. And those children, some children do not have any access to school at all. We're not even going to talk about how they're going to get to school, um, what they're going to sit on. They don't have a school to go to. Some children have no parents to provide access to the school. They have to, as children, they have to be fending for themselves. They have to be going out there now to make it, to provide for themselves. And so we really need to learn to appreciate the things in our lives when we have them to appreciate, because there's going to come a time when you might not have that thing, and that is when you're going to reflect and say, oh my God, if only I had that chance again, if only I had that person available to me again. So when access is blocked, when the access has been shut off, you no longer have access. Access has been denied to you. You who used to have the password, you who used to have the code to just punch in the code and access granted. You used to have that access and now you don't. And that is when you're going to wish, you know. There's another song that I really like. It's called One Day, and it was sung by Natasha, that is the daughter of the mighty Sparrow, right? It's a calypsonian from Trinidad and Tobago. And Natasha did this song, One Day. So the song basically is saying, it's talking about a relationship, but it's extending to the wider life. And I think you should really go and look up that song One Day and listen to the lyrics, right? So it's talking to this fellow who took the woman in his life for granted. And she's saying, one day, when you stop and you reflect on all the good that I've done, when you reflect on everything that we did together and the value that I brought to your life, and you're going to realize that the well run dry, you no longer have access to it. And yes, I'm talking to everyone. I'm talking to males and females, not to take those in life for granted, not to take the things that we have for granted, but from the honest depth of my heart, I'm telling you that it's the men who have a tendency to take the things in their life for granted. No, there are many things we take for granted. It's not just relationships, it's not just material things. Even your health, you take for granted. Your youth, you take for granted. When we are young, we don't think that we will ever grow old. We look at death and old age as something way out yonder, far, far. We don't have to concern ourselves with that. That's not us, right? In youth, we think that health will always be there, vibrance will always be there, strength, the ability to get up and do things, to go about. We take our senses for granted. We take our sight for granted, our hearing. And those who lose it, those who lose the senses, they can tell you the value. They can tell you, oh my God, I wish, especially if they were born with it and then lost it later on, they can tell you, oh my God, I wish I was still able to see the faces of my loved ones. I wish I was still able to hear my child's voice, to hear my friend's voice, to hear that song that I love so much. Now they're only hearing it through memory. I wish I was still able to get up and go over there. Yeah, persons now who cannot get up from where they're sitting right now and walk a few feet away. They cannot. And they wish they still had that availability in their legs, the stamina, the nerve power to move that muscle, to move those bones in their legs and take them. Yeah, persons who no longer have legs. Yeah, persons missing their limbs right now who wish with all their hearts that they could still have it. So we, right now, I have all my limbs that I was born with. I have all my senses that I was born with. I am going to appreciate them. I appreciate them by keeping them strong, eating the right food to keep them healthy. I appreciate them by making use of them. I appreciate them by putting them to the use that they were made for. If you don't use it, you will lose it. The body is a thing where the muscles are trophy if you don't use them. Likewise with your brain cells, likewise with every part of it. If you don't put it to the use it was made for, you're going to lose it. Right? You have it now, appreciate it, don't take it for granted. Want it, can't get it, and get it, no want it. Want it, can't get it, and get it, no want it. The next Jamaican wise saying that we're going to talk about is, you should have said something, my youth. You should have said something, my youth. You should have talked. No, that means you should have said something. You should have said something. You should have opened up your mouth and say something. Another saying we have is talk up the things. Talk up the things, not lock up your mouth. Jamaican will tell you when you lock up your mouth, it will start smell. You know, when you keep your mouth shut for too long, you will start to develop bad breath. Literally and figuratively. You have to express. We have to encourage each other to express. Talk up the things, open your mouth and say something. Because when you say something, you let other persons know what is going on. We have the ability to read minds if we develop it. I firmly believe that humans have that potential to be able to access the thoughts of others without verbal expression. But most of us have not developed that skill. For most of us, we rely on hearing the words or reading the words in order for us to understand what another human brain is thinking. So express yourself, speak up. Don't suffer in silence. Speak up so somebody else can understand what is going on, whether it's an intimate relationship or your family relationships, or you're at school you're in the classroom. I am a teacher, and I always encourage my students, speak up. Let me know if you understand. Let me know if you don't understand. Let me know what's going on in your head. If I'm teaching you something and you're not getting it, raise your hand. Miss, I'm not getting it. Miss, I don't understand. Miss, can you say it another way? Miss, can you give me an example? But for you to sit there suffering in silence and sometimes even nodding, I'm going to think you understand. I'm going to move on. Don't sit there and suffer. You know, don't suffer. Express yourself. Speak up. You have a voice. Don't let anybody stifle your voice. Let yourself be heard. Talk up the things. Open your mouth and say something. A Jamaican will tell you, my mouth na join church. My mouth na join church. What does that mean? My mouth, literally, it would mean my mouth is not a member of a church. What that mean? You're not restricting yourself to think that saying something is gonna put you in hell. You're going to speak up. You know, when you join church, you're more conservative, you're more restrained. Certain things you're not gonna say. Well, if a Jamaican tell you say, my mouth not join church, you know. Feel me mouth not join church. So anything me want to say, me I go say it. But Jamaican tell you that this is somebody who is going to be expressing themselves. They're going to let you know what is what. They're going to let you know what they're feeling. They're going to let you know what the boundaries are. And if you're stepping over those boundaries, yes, you're going to be told. You're coming over into my space. You're violating my code. I don't want you to do that. A lot of us suffer in silence. We allow persons to treat us as doormats, to walk all over us, to trample on our rights, to abuse us, and we don't say anything. No, talk up the things. There are persons in relationships and they feel oppressed in the relationship. They feel subdued. They feel like they cannot be their true self. And sometimes they're even physically being abused. And they don't say anything. Either they're hoping that the person will develop the person who is doing the action will develop a conscience and stop, or they're hoping that somebody is going to see the signs and approach them and do something to stop it. Or maybe they just feel like, oh well, this I don't deserve any better than this. This is all I deserve. This is my cross to bear in life. I'm gonna just take it and go with it. Right? No, don't take it and go with it. Speak up, talk up the things, say something to somebody. No, I know that not everybody you have to say something to. You have to be selective in who you approach, who you share your secrets with, who you share your problems with. Because some people will just take it and run gonna tell everybody. And then your business gone all over the place. You know why your business go all over the place? So yes, you have to be selective. If there's nobody in your family who you can talk to, if you have no friends who you can share with, go to a counselor, go to a therapist, go to someone who has been trained to talk to persons who have problems, go to someone who has been trained for years to know the right questions to ask and the right things to say to keep you from going over the edge, to pull you back from the edge. There are persons who have been trained, professionally trained, to ask specific questions in specific situations to prevent specific things or to cause specific actions. So if you feel like you're on the verge of something and you want to be pulled back from the verge, you can go to persons who are going to say things that make you even want to jump even more. There are persons who you can go to with a problem and they give you advice that's going to dig you deeper in the problem. That's going to make you even more want to leave the earth. So yes, you have to be careful, right? And if you don't have a friend who you can trust, if you don't have a family member who you can trust, go to a professional therapist, seek counseling, talk to somebody who will listen and who can give you sound advice. You know, I saw this meme on social media the other day. It says, if you see me talking to myself, it's because every now and then I know that I need professional advice. Right? If you see me talking to myself, I'm getting professional advice. Yes, for some of us, this is true. I know I am one of those persons. So if you see me talking to myself, I'm just getting sound professional advice from myself. You see, those of us who are in tune with that deeper voice, that greater voice, we make it a point of duty to sit in silence, and that voice comes. It's in the habit of coming, and we know it's there. Yes, we are sagacious, and we can, rely on that sound, wise voice. So, yes, some of us do talk to ourselves, and it's not that we are going crazy, it's just that we are getting professional advice. But for the ones who are not in tune with that inner voice, and we all have access to it, we all have access to that wisdom from within. And some of that wisdom from within are the very wise sayings that I'm telling you about in this program, the generational voices that have consolidated that folk wisdom that is inside ourselves, handed down, inherited. We all have access to that, right? But let's say you haven't tuned into that yet. Talk to someone. Talk to someone. Write it down. Writing is a way of talking. Writing is a voice. It's your written voice. So if you don't reach the point yet where you want to verbalize it, write it down. Write it down first. Just brainstorm. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. Just write it down. As a writer, I can tell you that writing is therapy. Writing is therapy. When I'm writing my novels, even the nonfiction work, but especially my novels, and I'm expressing myself through my characters, I'm telling you, that is therapy. One of the things that I do when I'm writing a novel, so I'm flashing out the story, there are always different points of view, different things you want to where it says like a debate going on, and this character is presenting this view and the other one presenting that view, and somebody might be neutral and somebody might just have a different point of view. At the end of it, it's like you have had the debate, and so you have taken yourself through the process. And if you do that with research in it, if you do it with deep critical thinking as a part of it, trust me, by the end of it, you are so much better. You are so much lighter. So writing is therapy. Talking is therapy. You know what else is therapy? Singing. That's another thing that I do. So if you having problems expressing, there are songs where somebody has been inspired and put in words already for you, ready made for you, any emotion that you're going through. If you're feeling joy and you have no words to express it, there are many, many songs that express joy. Sing one of them, just sing it. If you're feeling sad, there are many songs where persons have felt deep sadness, deep sorrow, and they have put it into words and they have put it to music, and it's there already for you. Sing it. In singing it, you are taking yourself through it. You are expressing it, right? And don't feel bad if you're sad, if you're angry, if you're worried. These are human emotions that we all go through from time to time, and it's a healthy part of the human experience to go through sadness, to go through anxiety, to go through even trepidation. All of these are natural, normal feelings. It's when we dwell in them and when we start to feel hopeless in them, no, that is the morbid part of it. But allow yourself to go through these. Sing a sad song, sing a happy song, sing an angry song, sing a song of rebellion, sing a song of whimsical frolicking. There are songs for every emotion. And if you can't put it to words, then find a song where someone else has already put it to words. You know what else is good for expression? Crying. Especially when you pray and cry at the same time. No, I'm not a religious person, but I pray. And this is something that many persons, they can't understand. How can you not be religious? You're not a Christian, you're not a Muslim, you're not a Rastafarian, and you're talking about prayer. Prayer is really just speaking. To me, prayer is speaking to the divine, whatever your sense of the divine is. If you just, I personally just think of the universe as the whole, the all, and that is the divine for me. And I have found when my prayers get answered most is when I am in the height of an emotion to the point where I cry. You see, whenever that happens, my prayer is answered like that. It's as if the divine doesn't like when I cry. So I kind of feel like I'm throwing a tantrum when I get to the point. Like if I see something that, I've been affirming and it hasn't manifested as yet, I start throwing a tantrum and I cry, and the divine lets me have my own way. Because I talk up the things, when I keep it inside, I talk it up, I express. This is how I'm feeling. I need you to do this now. You're taking too long. I'm throwing a tantrum here. And then I get what I want. All right, so the next wise saying that we're going to talk about. In Jamaica, we have this saying, you take the thing out of my mouth, my youth. You take the something out of my mouth. You take the word right out of my mouth. Literally, it's saying, you took the words out of my mouth. Literally, you took those words right out of my mouth. You take the word right out of my mouth. We know that literally that cannot happen, right? Words are not things where you can pluck out of someone's mouth. But basically, what you're saying is, the thing that you were going to say, the other person has said it. Right, nail it on the head, right? Other person has said it. And actually, another saying about taking things, when a Jamaican said to you, you take up when I put on, or you take up when I dash way, right? Now, this is usually said in condescension. It's a very condescending thing to say. It's like you're looking down on the person and say, "Chow." Yeah, usually we say we kiss with teeth too. And look on the person. When you are take up me just put on, right? Or you take up when me dash for a long time. What you are just taking up, I have put that down already. I've been there, done that. Basically, that's what we're saying. Been there, done that. When you are take up and you feel, so that the person who is just getting the thing feel that, oh my God, this great thing I have found. Just like how you felt when you just found the thing, right? Oh, this beautiful thing. And oftentimes this is used in the context of someone has started to date your ex. This is usually the context. It's not the only context, but usually in the context where someone has started to date your ex and you're saying, you are take up when me put on. Me no want that. Go on with that. Yeah, take up when me put on. Oftentimes when we talk about our exes, more often than not, we refer to our exes as being the bad one, the one who caused the ruin. We think of our exes as narcissistic. We think of our exes as toxic. And I guess because we're leaving the relationship. So yeah, we tend to be negative, in the way we look at the person. So somebody would say, well, all your exes were narcissists, all your exes were toxic, you were the squeaky clean one. But that's just how humans tend to think of things. It's the other person who was the faulty one, the defective one, right? There's also this meme I saw where they were saying, my mother always told me to share my used toys with the less fortunate. My mother always told me that I should share my used toys with the less fortunate. So they're referring now to the person who is now dating their ex, and they're referring to the ex as the used toy. And this person who is dating them is the less fortunate person who is, yeah, you can have that toy. I'm done with it. You go with it. That kind of thing. But well, there's another saying that goes, one man's food is another man's poison. And we could put it the other way, one man's poison is another man's food. So yeah, maybe the thing didn't serve you and it was just not for you. It wasn't your fit. But the person who is taking up that thing or that person, maybe it's their fit and maybe they will have a good experience. We can look at it like that too. Maybe it was a poison to you, but it will be food to them. So we don't need to be condescending all the time and thinking that because it didn't work out with us, because the person was narcissistic towards us, because it was toxic with us, maybe it will be a vibrant, healthy thing with this new one, right? Maybe it will just be their fit and it will be a positive, healthy thing for them. Because we're all on journeys through life, and hopefully as we go we are learning. You learned from the experience. Hopefully your ex has also learned and grown from the experience, and maybe with this new person in their life, maybe they will be more mature, maybe they have learned now to appreciate. If we think of the first wise saying that we did today, want it, can't get it, no want it. Maybe now they have learned to appreciate. After having lost you, they might say, you know what, I'm not going to let something good slip out my hands again. So maybe, yes, they are processed and they are now ready to be in a healthy, vibrant relationship where they will reciprocate, where they will hold up their side of the bargain, and it won't be toxic. So we don't always have to think negatively towards something that went through us. We have lost it, we have moved on from it, but maybe it is the best thing for someone else or for something else, right? And it does reek of a little bitterness, we must admit. It does reek of some bitterness for us to be saying, you do, you know, you take up what me put on. It is bitter, it doesn't it? It does make us sound bitter. So, in order not to come off as bitter, maybe we can say, nice being on the journey with you. It didn't go as we had planned, it didn't go as we would have wanted, but we have moved on and I wish you all the best. How's that? How's that one? I wish you all the best that life has to offer. And I wish that as you go along, you will make better choices as I am planning to make better choices and take better care of the persons who you have in your life, right? So that's how we should proceed. Now, the last wise saying that we're going to look at today, remember, each week we do 4. And I always want you to write in the comments and let me know what are the wise sayings in your neck of the woods that match up with these. Because listen, people are people, right? People are people. We have similar experiences no matter where in the world you find yourself. And our ancestors have all been through this. They have been around the sun time and time again. They have gathered these sayings. And so I'm going to have things that my folks here in Jamaica said, and you will have things that your folks there said similar. So I want you to let me know, or if they're not similar, let me know some of your wise sayings and what lessons you have learned from them. So the last one we're going to look at is one cocoa, full basket. One cocoa, full basket. Literally, it means each. Well, we say cocoa. Cocoa is a tuber similar to yam or dasheen that we eat here in the Caribbean. So you put one cocoa in the basket, another cocoa in the basket, another cocoa in the basket. Before you know it, your basket is full of cocoas. And another saying that we have similar to that is every mickle make a muckle. It's kind of a tongue twister. We're playing on the words. Every mickle make a muckle. So it's the same thing. Little of this, little of this, little of this, till by the time you look, it's full. You have what you were aiming for. One cocoa, full basket. And this is just telling us that, hey, don't feel bad if you're starting off with a little bit of things. Don't feel bad if right now you just have this amount of well, as a material thing, you just have this amount, or you just have this amount of courage, you just have this amount of talent, you just have this amount of education. Keep at it. Keep doing it. Keep stepping. An English proverb, take care of the pence and the pounds will take care of themselves. It's the same thing. Remember I tell you, we're people. Folks are folks. We have this similar wisdom right across the world. Take care of the pence and the pounds will take care of themselves. You just focus on that this little thing you have to do, and the next little thing, and the next little thing. And before you know it, the thing is bringing itself into being. The bigger thing, the wider thing is bringing itself into being. Now, there is a African historian who I really love. He passed a couple of years ago, Dr. John Henrik Clark, and I remember he was giving a speech, he was giving a lecture, and he said, if we have something to do, if there's something to be done as a people, he was referring to blacks, the black people. We have something to be done, and we have to think, we have to start thinking as our ancestors did. We have to start thinking in terms of centuries. The things that we set out to accomplish, it shouldn't always just be 5-year plan, 10-year plan, even 20-year plan. We have to think about 100-year plan. 100-year. We have to think about things that we would like to see manifest in 100 years. And he said, you know what? If we're doing something and it's going to take 100 years, if we start doing it this year, we only have 99 more years to go, right? If it's going to take 100 years and you start doing it this year, we have only 99 more years. But if you never start it, then you never know when it's going to be finished. If you never start, you don't know when it's going to be finished. If you start it now, you only have another 99 more years. As many as it sounds, as many as 99 sounds, it's only 99. But if you don't start yet, you have an eternity before you finish. And that is how we have to think. Don't be daunted. Don't allow yourself to be daunted by the massiveness of what is left to be done. And then you're so daunted that you don't even start. You're so overwhelmed by how much it's going to take that you don't even start. Because you see, once you start, gradually, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady, slow and steady. One step at a time. Don't even look down the road to say, oh my God, I have so much further to go. Keep stepping, keep stepping, keep stepping, keep stepping. Before you know it, oh, by the time you glance up, oh my God, I can see the horizon. Oh my God, I can see land. Oh my God, I can see the signs of the city. Keep stepping. Make that first step. Step off. Make the first step, and you'll be surprised. By the time you look, you're almost there. You're almost there. If it's a material thing you want to purchase, put aside your pennies. The pence, put aside your pennies or your pence, as they say. The pounds will take care of themselves. Put aside your 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent. The dollars will take care of themselves. The bigger thing will play itself out. You take care of each small thing, each small step, right? Sometimes I'm doing my videos, or I know that, okay, I want to do this video. I might not be in the mood at a particular time. I might even have other things to do, and I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Oh my God, I have this to do, that to do, that to do, that to do. And I say, you know what? Let me start. Let me just start. Let me start. I usually have a plan. I like to work with a plan. And that is one of the main lessons that I learned from Marcus Garvey. Always have a plan. So I'll have a plan, I'll have my notes, I'll have things to guide me, right? And then I'm still extemporaneous most of the time, but with a little guideline. And sometimes you're just not in the mood, but if you start, you'll find you get in the mood gradually. You'll find it's just going along and you're doing what you need to do and it gets done. But if you never start, it will never get done. It will never be finished. You will never be halfway. You'll never be a quarter of the way because you have not started. One cocoa full the basket. One cocoa full the basket. Every mickle make a muckle. Every little bit adds up. There are so many ways that we can say it. And all our ancestors have been telling us is make that first step and keep stepping, keep stepping, keep stepping, keep doing it. Don't stop, don't overthink the first step. Get yourself in order to a point, yes. Get your plan, as I say, write down the goal, write down what it is you want to achieve. Yes, I'm all for that. I'm a planner. If it's one thing I can tell you, I'm a planner. The other day, my children, well, they're grown now. They're young adults now, right? And they sent me an email of a schedule that they had, they sat down and they made this schedule of chores. So 3 of them are still at home. I have four kids. 2 are studying abroad, but 1 is here now on vacation, right? The other is still abroad studying. So I have 3 in the house now. And they decided among themselves, they have a schedule, a roster that they work with all the time. And they sat down recently to redo it because of changes in their daily activities. So they decided they needed to change up the roster, and they sat down together and they made it up and they emailed it to me. So when the email came in and I was looking at it, the time and the dates and whatever and who's to do what and I laughed to myself and I said, these are definitely my kids. These are my children. These are the fruits of my loins. Because this is exactly all I am. I love to make plans. I like to write things down. I like to have schedules. That's a part of me. And as I tell you, I got that from reading the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey and the other books with Garvey's works. Marcus Garvey was all for making a plan. You have a goal you want to accomplish, write down the goal, write down what you're going to need to do in order to accomplish that goal, step by step by step, and then you check off as you go along. Check off, check off. And I love making checks. I actually have a scrapbook. So let's say for the month, there are certain things that I want to do or need to do, like the bills you need to, and then there are other things you want to have, and I will write them down. And one of the most beautiful part of it is when you're able to check it off. So or what I do is I just cross through it, accomplished, done, mission accomplished as I go along. So each one, okay, I got that, I did that, I achieved that, cross through it, or you can check it, right? One at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And by the time you go back and look, oh, I've done everything on the list. I've accomplished everything on the list, or most things on the list, and the rest of them are in the process of being accomplished, one by one by one by one by one. One cocoa, every mickle make a muckle. So that's the last one we're doing today. And I really want to know, what are some of your wise sayings? What are some of the things in your neck of the wood that your grandma always says? Whenever you do certain things, grandma always said XYZ, or you do something and mama always said XYZ, or daddy said XYZ, or whomever it is, right? Let me know. Let us share, because we in the diaspora, we have inherited so much from the motherland. We have been scattered far and wide, yes, but we still have that in our genes. Deep in the recesses of our DNA, it is still there, that ancient wisdom, that folk wisdom. Share it with me. Let me know what the folks in your corner of the world say. So until next week, this is Kam with another episode of Jamaican Wise Saying. Go over to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, Jamaica Ayawide, for more wise sayings, for more all things Jamaican. Right? Not just wise sayings, but I'm going to also start having programs that show comedic skits. I also want to start working with puppets to create cartoons and stuff like that. So it's a lot on that channel. I also have a Jamaican channel called Jamaica, Big Up the Things. So you can also go and check that one out. All right, so I'll see you next week.